to Leitner. Puts it up.
You're listening to the Culture State Podcast.
Get ready. Woo!
Welcome back to the Culture State Podcast. Sorry about the echo. Sorry about the bad lighting if you happen to be watching on YouTube. I don't have my desk yet at my new home, but
You have new
I'm
digs,
here.
sir.
There's no more boxes behind me. I'm Chris Lee.
And I'm
That's my
Dennis
man,
Cox.
Dennis Cox.
Yeah, congrats. You know, the house is coming together pretty well, my man. Looking pretty good. Congrats on that.
Thank you. And it was good having you over.
Yeah.
We had a little cookout here. That's what we call it in North Carolina. We had a little cookout.
Yes. All right. First of all, this is our good friends over at Sports Channel 8 have stated this, and I agree 100% with them. You have cookouts. You can't have a barbecue. You eat barbecue. You don't have a barbecue. There is a difference between the two. You don't, hey, we're going to have a barbecue and have burgers and hot dogs or whatever else you have. No. You eat barbecue. There's a difference for all those who don't understand North Carolina.
I had to explain that to my wife's family when I went over to Bermuda to visit, and they were like, hey, we're going to have a barbecue. And I was like, oh, what kind of barbecue? And they were like, I mean, you know, where you grill outside. I was like, oh, you're going to have a cookout.
Yeah. There's a
like, what? So, yes, I'm glad you said that. And, of course, it being me, it's going to be a vegan cookout.
Of course. What else would it be?
You know, because we like the plants, we like the earth, we like animals around here. At least I do. And so my man Dennis Cox, who always turns his nose up at vegan stuff, like he's never had vegetables and fruit before.
Okay. All right, let's set the record straight. I eat vegetables. Let's put that to rest now.
But you turn your nose up at everything like it's a dead animal, like it's a dead carcass. Like I'm about to take a dead carcass and fillet it and put it right there in front of you. That's how you turn your nose up at it.
Oh gosh. Wow. Okay.
And you treat the animal,
call it how you want.
You treat the animal like it's a fresh plant growing out of the ground. Like, oh, okay, chicken. Okay. What? A vegan burger? Oh my gosh. I don't know. I have to pause before I eat this. Oh my gosh. What am I putting in my body?
All right. So
what is this made out of?
It looks like no vegetables I've eaten before. I can tell you that. So, all right. For a little context here, I went over to Chris's new house for a cookout, not a barbecue, a cookout. And Chris, being vegan, had their Beyond Meat burgers.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what they were? So I had one with the vegan pepper jack cheese
and the Beyond Brat.
And Beyond Brat. So I indulged, you know, and I will say it wasn't bad.
And I don't want to put out too much of your personal information, but a friend of yours, made us some vegan brownies, which are really
those
good.
Were banging, by the way. Those brownies were really good. They weren't like enhanced in any sort of way. If people out there may be wondering out there, no, they're just they're
no edible situation here.
Yes, not that situation going on. I do not indulge in that. But those vegan brownies were spot on. Those were amazing. So shout outs to the special friend out there who made those.
It's amazing how you take out one ingredient and it still tastes the same. Still got the chocolate and sugar, all that good stuff.
So Lynn Williams, our guest this week on the Culture State Podcast.
Oh, you're just gonna move on to that.
Well,
you don't want to talk about the other vegetables and things that were grilled out. Did you enjoy that?
Absolutely. I love bell peppers and and onions mixed up with different stuff. So yeah, absolutely. Those were fantastic.
Did you you don't like asparagus, do you? Did you have the asparagus?
I've never been an asparagus fan, and I know in the words of your wife, I'm weird and I need work.
Yeah, because my wife had to call you out. Shout out to my babe. She called you out for the wine. She called you out for the jelly. She called you out for not liking key lime pie. What else did she call you out for?
I think that was it. So far.
My wife was a little tipsy. So she had no filter.
And it was wonderful. It was absolutely wonderful. First time I actually met her face to face too.
Yeah.
So she definitely called me out on stuff. Well, the reason why I mentioned Lynn Williams as our guest today, because she talks about, she's originally from the West Coast. She's a player for the North Carolina Courage, also competed in the Olympics for the U.S. women's national soccer team. took home a bronze medal, or a rose gold, as they refer to it as. But she talks about the differences of growing up on the West Coast, coming out east, and just the differences in culture and lifestyle, and how things are just far different from where she grew up and went to college in Southern California.
Yeah. It was great having her on and being able to talk to her. And, she's very modest, but,
Yeah.
when you're the NWSL's leading scorer,
Mhm.
and this is the NWSL is the best women's professional soccer league, some would say in the world, but definitely on this hemisphere, this side of the this Western hemisphere. She's amazing, and NWSL has produced a lot of women who are Olympians from all over the world.
Mhm.
The Courage themselves, Abby Erceg, I believe she's from New Zealand.
Yep.
And then you have Dabinia, who's from Brazil. And of course, Sam Ewis, her fellow U.S. women's national team teammate, all on the same team. So this is high level competition that she's going against. And, at one point this season, I don't know if it still stands, but she was the leading scorer for the NWSL. And this means that we're talking to a high level athlete, one of the best women's soccer players in the world. And she's someone who, in a way, if you look at the soccer world, she wasn't heralded just 5, 6, 7 years ago. She wasn't the person that you think that would come out and become this amazing soccer player for the United States of America. She had to work into that, and so her story is just an amazing.
And she made an impact too this year in the Olympics when the quarterfinals rolled around. They had to take on Netherlands, the country that the United States faced in the World Cup championship just a couple years prior. She gets a start in that game. And she talks about the journey a little bit of how she was originally an alternate name to the team. And then due to COVID reasons, the Olympics allowed the alternates to travel to Tokyo, but you could still only dress 18 as opposed to the full 22. But not only did she dress in that game against the Netherlands, she started and she had a goal and an assist in the game that put them into the medal round. So she made an impact for the U.S. team this year when originally it was looking like she may not have been able to get that opportunity.
But that's what Lynn Williams does. She goes in and she impacts games. She scores. She's really good at soccer. If you ever had a chance to,
that's an understatement.
Right. If you ever had a chance to watch her live, or either, if you watch NWSL games, either on Paramount or however Paramount Plus, I believe it's called, and wherever else you can watch those games, she always has an impact on the game. So very blessed to be able to have a conversation with her and be able to talk to an Olympian right here on the Culture State podcast. And so I guess without any further ado, since Dennis doesn't want to talk more about veganism and trying out vegan food and eating vegetables.
Lynn Williams up after this.
We love our special guests on the Culture State podcast, and this is the first Olympian that we've had on the podcast. Yeah. Is that right, Dennis?
I believe so.
Yeah, she's a bronze medalist with the U.S. Women's National Soccer Team, and doing amazing things with the NC Courage. I feel like the couple times of going to Courage games, it's like this is the person who scores for the Courage every time, and her name is Lynn Williams. How you doing today?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. Also, everybody scores, but thank you.
Everybody does, but like when you score like two, goals in a row, and then the game is 2-0 and the Courage win. My daughter is like, yo, she's really good. So it's like, yeah, she is good.
I'm just trying to do my part or do my job. So
it's okay. You can brag, Lynn, on this podcast. It's okay. We allow it. We celebrate all things North Carolina. You can celebrate you. It's totally fine.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask you about, as far as, I know you won a bronze medal with the U.S. Women's National Team, and just the experience of going to the Olympics was amazing. But when you guys weren't playing a game, when you weren't actually, practicing for a game, what was your downtime like in Tokyo? Like, was it boring? How did you fill your time? Like, what did you have to do to make the time go by those 2 weeks?
Oh, all we had was downtime. We had a lot of Sorry, that is a dog if you hear
Okay.
in the background. But if we didn't have like meetings or meal times, it was a lot of downtime. We were had to quarantine because Japan had like strict rules. So a lot of like in the room time, a lot of putting things in my cart, online shopping, but then like never buying them. I think I would like linger around the meal room. Okay. I would like linger around the meal room longer than needed, just to get out of my room. And then we had like a projector where other sports were being played. So it was really cool to like hang out with everybody and watch other sports during the Olympics. That was one of my favorite things.
Reading a lot of books, a lot of self-help, self-mastery, things like that. Was that
I was reading Rich Dad Poor Dad for a bit, but then I reading.
I love that book. I've read that book twice.
Really? Have you read like the second one? I don't remember what it's called, but the one after that.
There's I think that one I listened to as an audiobook because Robert Kiyosaki gets a little repetitive.
Yeah.
So like it's a quick read, it's an easy read, but then when it feels like he's kind of going in circles, it's kind of that's what I don't like as far as
I thought that about this. This is actually now a book critique podcast, but
Okay. I clearly need to read this so I can be part of this conversation.
yeah, we're just gonna critique books now. But I felt the same way. Like I thought the first one, it was, don't get me wrong, I liked it and it was like helpful. But I was like, I feel like he just said this and now he's like saying it again.
Yeah. He has this circular way of kind of talking about, and I feel the same way about, this would be my last time talking about a book, but I kind of feel the same way about the Napoleon Hill books. When people have you want you to read Think and Grow Rich, things like that. It's kind of, there's this circular kind of thing to make the same point over and over again. But I don't know, maybe that's just the way to get like something in your head. Maybe coaches have been like that in your life, like they say the same thing over and over again. It just kind of stuck. And
Way to bring it back. Way to bring it back. Yeah, definitely. That coaches do that.
Yeah. Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
All right, Dennis, you can be a part of the conversation.
No, I was just wondering, did they make the book in comic book form? Because that's the case, I'm all over it and I am reading it. And so, but apparently not. So, all right, Lynn, my one burning question regarding the Olympics is, you are an Olympian. When are you getting the tattoo? When are you getting your Olympic ring tattoo? When is it happening? I got to know.
I don't know. My boyfriend asks me that same question all the time. I don't know. I don't know if I want to. I mean, I should. I got like a Courage tattoo and a New York Flash tattoo when we won. So I guess like it would be fitting.
Yeah.
Maybe when the pandemic is over and everything's opened up a bit more, I'll go. I don't know. I haven't really planned it out yet.
All right.
Just don't do the face or neck.
No, I would have to be something. I mean, how unique can you get with Olympic rings? But I feel like it would have to be something kind of unique, right?
Maybe. Yeah. But that's the thing. If you find a good artist, and I know I got my guy that's in the area that's done all three of mine. So he can definitely cook up something nice for you for sure. You tell him a little bit what you want with the rings, maybe a soccer ball, US flag in there, however you want to do it. I guarantee you he'll make up something good for you.
Put them on the back of your fists, do it like that, put them together.
Yes.
I'm an Olympian.
Chris, we will not be going to you for any more suggestions.
No books, no tattoo ideas from Chris Lee.
I don't have any
again.
tattoos. I don't have any tattoos, so I don't know where what good placement is for tattoos. I'll just try to take a guess, a shot in the dark.
Not there.
No, not the hands. They say not much blood circulation, so it's gonna fade. But I love your contribution.
Thank you. I appreciate that. We'll move on from the Olympics after a while, but I still wanted to know, what were you able to? I know you had to kind of be locked down, but what were you able to actually see from the ride to the airport and back to the Olympic Village or whatever? What about Japan and what about it did you end up liking the little bit that you did get a chance to experience?
Yeah, well, I love the culture. The people are so amazing. Super nice, super just like lovely to be around. When we were in
3 different places, but I'm going to say 2 different places. We were in Miyazaki and then we were in Tokyo. And when we were in Miyazaki, it was like a bit more secluded and like out by the ocean. And so when we were there, it was definitely like a lovely experience of like ocean. And we had to have like got to walk outside more. And so sorry, enough. Okay, give me this toy. That is enough of that. So we got to like walk outside and see a lot of things. And by a lot of things, I just mean like nature. And then when we got to Tokyo, everything like kind of just like shrunk down. It seemed like city, but like roads stacked on top of roads on top of roads. And it would take us a long time to get to trainings or get to the games just because of like how crowded the area was. But I feel like if you've seen one city, you've kind of seen them all. Like it's a city. But what I found so unique, I guess, which might not be that exciting, is that like every single car was like a box. Because I'm assuming because like the front of the car is like short, so you can fit into spaces. And then like the buses also had like, you'll have 2 seats on the side, but then there was like a fold out seat that could go in the middle. So you could kind of have 5 people around or in a row instead of 4. But other than that, like we didn't really get to go out or see anything because of COVID. But there was a lot of time spent on the bus. So it was a lot of like touring buildings from the outside on a school bus.
That's still something too.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was nice that would be like our outing for the day. So it was nice.
So quarterfinals roll around, you're taking on the Netherlands. You find out you're in the starting lineup. What was going through your head when you found out?
Oh gosh. Well, I think to like perfectly describe that, you kind of have to go back and know that I wasn't on the roster, quote unquote, at the beginning. So like my mindset going in was, okay, I'm an alternate. I'm so excited, blessed to be here, but I'm like obviously not the position I want to be in. But I need to get on board with just supporting my teammates and having like a supporting role. So then when the rule changed, you know, I think Black was a great guy, and I think I'm very talented, but in my head, I'm like, I wasn't part of the 18 originally. So he's just getting us all on the field or all on a roster to be considered Olympians. And that is just something that he's doing for the 4 of us that weren't named to the roster out of like the goodness of his heart. So when I was named to the roster of the Australian game and got in for those last 15 minutes, I thought like that was it. That's all I was going to do. And so when we were in a meeting and he was just talking and he said, all right, and this is how we're going to set up. We were going over like tactical stuff. And he said my name. And initially I was like, did he just say my name? Like, was that the right name? And thank goodness I was wearing a mask because I was like in shock. And so I initially was in shock and then excited. And then I said, all right, Lynn, get it together. Like you need to focus on what he's saying. So super excited. Very shocked was my emotions.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's definitely a once in a lifetime experience to do that and to represent your country. But I want to like go back and see what got you here to this point. What got Lynn Williams to be an Olympian? At what point in your soccer journey did you realize that you were good enough, 1, to be a professional, but 2, to be one of the best for the United States of America, to be able to represent the country? How has your journey been to get to this point, to feel like, man, I'm one of the top in the world?
Oh, my journey has been up and down and like all around. And I ran track and played soccer in high school, and I wasn't really getting recruited to play soccer for college, just because I think I come from an area that isn't necessarily known as this like huge soccer community. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna run track in college, and it's fine. But my passion was soccer. But I was just and when I was getting recruited, it was to like D3 schools, which like shame to that. I just had aspirations to go D1. So eventually I was recruited by Pepperdine. And I think in my freshman year there was this finally like a light switch of like, okay, I can do this. I was like named freshman of the year, WCC freshman of the year. And I was like, wow, of all the freshmen on our team, I was the only one consistently starting, and all the freshmen in the conference, I like got this huge honor and award. And so from there on, I really wanted to push for the national team, because back then we didn't actually have an NWSL or a league. And so I was like, okay, it was national team or bust pretty much.
Yeah.
And I had never been in a national team camp ever. And so my goal was to be on the U20s, and then I didn't get called to that. And so I was like, okay, how do I get to the U23s? Actually had to turn it down for a moment. And then my career was like riddled with injuries. At one point I almost quit because I was like, is this even worth it? And then finally got drafted to Western New York, and I had another injury there where I needed surgery again. And again, I was like, is this even worth it? Because I'm not having any fun. I think I've had 7 surgeries in my time. And I was like, I'm only 22 years old. Like, what is going on? But then the next year I came back, and I just wanted to have fun and like enjoy the game. Like when I was injured, a lot of my teammates were getting called up to the national team, and I knew the Olympics was that next year. And I was so angry at my body during that time, because I was like, I can't even show that I'm good enough. They're getting a little bit of jealousy of like, all my friends are going, and I'm here sitting on the couch with like a knee brace. And like I said, I thought it was like national team or bust. And so when I came back that next year, I kind of had to reframe my mind and just say, I just want to have fun. Like, I love playing soccer. And the reason I started playing soccer wasn't because I wanted to be on the national team or because I wanted to make all this money, X, Y, and Z. It's just because I had a love for the game. And when I found that again, 2016 happened for me, where I was the Golden Boot winner and the MVP. And I was like, and then I got my first call up to the national team. And so with my national team journey, obviously it's been up and down, but that's where I think I always go back to, is just like, I love this game. No matter what happens, I have so much love for the game. And that's why I play. So that was a long-winded answer, but
That's fine.
But that
you can do it.
yeah. And then I think that when you get on the national team, it's like a whole nother beast, just because it's like the best of the best in the world. And, I'm still going through confidence bouts of, I am one of the best strikers in the world. And I now talk to a sports psych to make sure like my mind is right, because now it's not about my physical, it's about up here. And so that's where I think I was able to like get ready for the Olympics and prepare myself to hopefully have an amazing career and a long career.
What does that do for your appreciation level to where you are now, that, you weren't the highly touted recruit? You weren't like, you didn't go to the big, ACC or SEC school, Pac-12 school for soccer, that you really did have to grind. You have to go through everything, and you still rose above all of that to make it to where you are now.
Yeah, I think it just shows people that there's not just one path to get to where you want to get. I did not play in any like youth national team stuff. I was seen through I didn't go, like you said, to this huge soccer school. I went to Pepperdine University, where we're known for academics, not soccer.
Which I'm sure you had some great views of Malibu.
I
the ocean too, because Pepperdine is beautiful.
Yeah, I was definitely spoiled. But yeah, so then like I got my shot through the NWSL. And then I've just had to stick on that. But I think that going into my career with the national team and just continuing on, like, I know I'm going to have to grind for everything. Nothing's going to ever come easy, but I think that hopefully that will prepare me for life when soccer is done, whatever that time will be. But yeah, it's definitely given me appreciation for what my body can do. And like my support system, because they've seen me. They've been there when I was like, I can't do this anymore. And then they're like, yes, you can. And I'm like, okay, I hate you, but here we go.
All right, so you go from Pepperdine, you
Mhm.
get picked up by the New York Flash, Western New York Flash.
Yes.
What was that like going from the beautiful sights of Malibu to Western New York? No, I have
Yeah.
friends and former college teammates from lacrosse that are from Western New York. I love them, but there's a little bit of a
Yeah, it's
difference
like a
there.
whole nother beast up there. Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit different.
Well, I am originally from Fresno, California. So I am from California. I'm spoiled in that way, but like it's not like I was raised in Malibu, but
yeah,
I was spoiled for 4 years, and I was very used to the weather and like the beach. And so when I was drafted to go to Western New York, one, I said I never wanted to live on the East Coast. I'm a West Coast girl through and through. And 7 years later, here I am still
Here
on the
you
East
are.
Coast. But so never say never. But when I heard New York, I thought I was going to the city. Like I thought I was gonna be in New York City. And when I got to Buffalo, funny enough, my uncle used to play for the
Far
Buffalo.
different than New York City. Sorry,
Oh yeah,
If you
far
stop
different
right
than
there,
way
that is hilarious. Like I thought I was gonna be in New York, but when I got to Buffalo,
well, funny enough, my uncle was drafted to the Buffalo Bills when he was first drafted. So it was kind of like full circle for our family. So when that happened, he kind of was like, it's cold there. But I didn't realize it was gonna, like, I've never seen more snow on the ground that wasn't in the mountains. And I was like, do I need chains on my car? I don't know how to drive in this. And they were like, no, they plow the streets. And I was like, what? So it was definitely like eye-opening and kind of a culture shock. And then the first year I hated it. It was terrible. I did not have any fun. But we got through, and I said, you know what, Lynn, this isn't like, you don't just do one and done. So came back for the second year and started to have fun again. And that's when I had all my, like I said, success, or the start of my successful journey, which was awesome. Hello.
so now the Raleigh Durham area, Cary, North Carolina. How does that compare to Buffalo for you? As far
Oh,
as
very much improved.
okay,
It's definitely the weather extreme in the different direction of, it's very hot. I did have to deal with a hurricane scare a couple years ago, which was also an experience in itself. But yeah, overall, way better.
What makes
what's it been
playing?
like being here in this area? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Dennis.
No, you took the question right out of my mouth.
What's it been like? Is that the
Yeah.
question?
Yeah, like what's it been like? What's it like playing in this area? And what's it been like just experiencing North Carolina?
Oh, it's been awesome. When we first got here and continued until this, I think this is our 5th year here. Can't keep track these days, but everybody's been so nice and so lovely. Every person I meet, who is a fan, who's not a fan, like people are just nice here. But then our fans just, I look at, especially games when it's like so hot or it's raining, and you look up and you still see people in the stands. And, I think that I just want people to know that doesn't go unnoticed. And our fans should get more credit for that, because there are times when I'm like, I know I'm hot here running around, but like I'm expected to sweat. When somebody's in the stand and the sun is just beating down on your face and you stay out there, like it's amazing to me to know that they stay out there through that. But it's been awesome. We had a warm welcome when we came, and we've built some good relationships with some of the like restaurants around here, because we're avid coffee drinkers and salad goers. So it's been good.
What's it been like as far as the what you notice about just the culture, the food, and the music, and just the different things that are here? Do you have chances to like take a day trip to the beach, or go take a day trip to the mountains and things like that are all in this area that are, maybe similar to what you experienced in California growing up?
Well, when we're in season, I honestly don't really get out of the area much, just because One, it's hot. Like I said, it's really hot here. And so when you're running around outside for like hours and then you have to come home or you have to like do all the recovery things, it kind of takes up a big part of your day because you have to then get ready to do it again the next day. So I think like, unlike other jobs, it's not just a mental thing. It's like you're physically exhausted too. But when we had COVID last year, when everybody was definitely in lockdown or we were quarantining, we would take trips to the beach and try to just like do a getaway and obviously social distance from everybody there. And it was nice to be able to like get away. I know the beach isn't that far and just see the ocean and kind of reconnect. Like I said, I grew up in Fresno, but I'm definitely like a beach person. And so when I was in Malibu, I felt like so at peace because of the ocean. I think there's something so calming about the ocean. And to be able to do that on the East Coast was really cool for me just to experience the difference. I think the beaches look very different. And the first time I went, I was so silly and I was like, let's go to the beach for the sunset. And then I realized like I was not looking at the ocean the whole time.
Wait, wrong direction. You gotta do
Yeah, I was
sunrise.
like,
You gotta do sunrise out here.
This is silly. I'm looking the wrong way. So then the next day I got up for the sunrise, but so that was nice. I've gone to Asheville once, which was also very cool. People say that's the mountains. I don't know if I would necessarily call that the mountains or not the mountains I'm really used to. Cause like we just kind of like gradually went up and then we were, I guess, in the mountains versus in California, like you drive up to it and you're like, all right, now we're about to climb it.
Yeah.
So that was different, but I thought it was beautiful. We went to, I can't remember the name of the hotel, but it like overlooked, the hills and it was like kind of like a castle-y feel.
Like Biltmore?
The Biltmore.
Oh, is that? Yeah, that might be it. Yeah, it was beautiful. And there was like is it like a winery? Is that what it is? Yeah, it was beautiful. And I thought it was like a great time. The barbecue has been great here. What else?
All right, Eastern or Western style? Mostly.
Oh,
I'm sure you had to learn about the difference between the two.
Yeah. You're talking about like North Carolina, Eastern, Western?
Yeah, North Carolina, Eastern, Eastern style North Carolina or the Western or Lexington style barbecue. Have you experienced
Honestly,
both?
haven't experienced both yet. So
Okay.
maybe that's something you can educate me on.
Okay. So Eastern's the more vinegar-based style, whereas Western or Lexington's more the tomato or ketchup-based style of sauce.
I'm definitely a more vinegar type of person.
Then you're an Eastern. There you go.
I'm an Eastern. And I said I never wanted to go east, but here I am again.
And here you are.
Something that's so different than the West Coast, though, and this might just be a California thing, but like we love tri-tip, and you guys don't have that here. Do you guys know what that is?
No.
Tri-tip?
Yeah, it's like a cut of the meat. You should look it up. It's delicious. It's
all right.
It's so good. So
like Chris will never eat it though.
No, I won't eat.
I'm
a vegan.
All right, sorry, Chris.
No, the dirty V word.
Close your ears.
I'll look it up anyway.
But it's so good. I'm obviously not vegan, but yeah. So like it's like a cut of the meat. It's.
Oh, okay.
But air quotes, but it's like the poor man's cut.
Okay.
But it's delicious. But every time I go to a barbecue place, growing up, I'd be like, oh, let's go get tri-tip. Like if I went out of state and people were like, I don't know what you're talking about. So it's definitely just like California.
Okay. Tri-tip. I'm going to find one.
Yeah.
I'm going to find one.
Yeah.
Chris,
try it.
We'll form one out of tofu for you.
I'll have the salad.
We'll have the salad.
Amazing.
That's usually
so if you ever find yourself in Fresno, Chris, not you, but if you ever find yourself in Fresno, go to the Doghouse Grill.
Doghouse Grill. All right.
Tri-tip sandwich. It's delicious.
See, now you're not left out. So we could connect on books. You guys can connect on meat. So yeah, there it is.
Or you can go to my dad's house because he does a good smoked tri-tip as well.
I'm in. I'm all in. Maybe, I don't know. Have you been to the Angus barn here in Raleigh? They might have a tri.
I
Babe,
have
am
not.
I ever
It's so
trying
funny. I guess I haven't really done that many things now that I like everybody always asks me, have you done this? I'm like, I don't know what I do all day.
Haven't done any of it.
How are the fries?
What?
How are the fries at the Angus Bar? I'm asking Dennis.
Oh, the fry. Oh, everything there is top notch.
Okay, all right.
Good.
That might be what I can have. So I wanted to ask really quick. You mentioned your uncle earlier. I didn't see an uncle come up in when I was researching you, but who was your uncle that played for the Bills?
Not anymore. When he was drafted
Right,
back
yeah.
in the day. His name is James Williams.
Okay.
Or JD Williams, and now he's been coaching all over, but now he coaches at Fresno State.
Okay. Cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So this athletics all in the family then.
Yeah. I had a couple of uncles go to the NFL. I had one uncle who played football who he played for the University of Washington, tragically passed away from a spinal cord injury while playing. And then my dad used to play football and run track too, but he didn't go to the NFL because he didn't want to. So
Hey,
that's the
everyone
choice
wants
to have in life. Like, I just don't want to go to the NFL. But
Yeah.
maybe in 3 years you can have the choice. Like, do I want to go to France? Do I not want to go to France? We'll see. What are your thoughts on that for 2024? Is that something that you want to go for, to have that full experience? Hopefully, we're done with COVID.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. I think if my body is able to do it, of course. I think it's everybody, I'm so honored to have gone to the Olympics. And I obviously benefited from the rule change, but I would love to be on the 18 and have my name be called for that. And then also I won a gold medal. I mean, bronze is gold, rose gold, is cool, but the real gold would be awesome. So definitely shooting for that, but we have a World Cup before that. So hopefully going to that, and I have a season next year. So I have to hopefully doing well for that. So I got a lot of things before then.
Season this year too, and we're looking forward to
season this year. Yeah,
how we're doing with that. So we'll probably be out to a few more games for sure. And I know before we got out of here, I know me and Dennis talked about your shoe collection that you posted on IG the other day. We got to know a little bit more about that.
Yes.
Yeah,
You got picks.
Yeah, I have like a shoe addiction. Me and my boyfriend both have a problem, and it's not like one of us doesn't, so they can be like, stop buying shoes. It's both of us just like, yeah, get that one. So my collection has grown a lot, but I wear them. So I think there's other things that are more alarming if I had another kind of addiction.
Yeah.
And I just love them. They're just like so cute and nice, and I just get so excited. Funny story before we go is every off season I go to Australia because my boyfriend is Australian, and Sam, I'll like pack a bag, and Sam Mewis was trying to help me pack, and I was like, I need these shoes, and she was like, you don't need this many, and I'm like, okay, well, help me. And it's like one that's like blue with like a little thing of blue like on the side, and then there's another blue one but it has like white on the side, and she's like, these are the same, and I'm like, no, they're not, they're different. And that's just like who I am. I'm like, I need them.
When you have an addiction, it's like that sometimes. So I get that in other things for sure. So.
The first step is admitting I have a problem. I get it.
Yeah. Doesn't even get to do anything about it, especially when it comes to shoes.
I don't plan on changing the problem. I
have a problem, and I love it.
A shoe problem isn't bad in the grand scheme of things. Thank you so much for joining us. This was amazing. Love watching you play, and looking forward to seeing the best from you. Coming up in this year, and then also in the years coming up after that.
Thank you so much. This was so much fun. So thank you guys so much for having me on your show.
We want to thank Lynn Williams for joining us right here on the Culture State Podcast. We also want to thank the makers of the Beyond Meat for making it so delicious. And also, I have to say that I seasoned it also myself.
You did.
Had a little bit of liquid smoke in there, hickory liquid smoke, to give it a more meaty kind of taste.
Mm-hmm.
And then put some other, secret ingredients in there. Made a pretty good burger, man. So Dennis had it, and he was just shocked that vegetables can taste so good. Even though you season meat with vegetables, with dried vegetables.
Yeah. Okay.
Herbs,
All right. Let's
grow that out of the ground.
Yep.
Spices.
Okay. And you're talking to the guy who loves
Grow it out
roasting vegetables in a cast iron skillet. And you're going to tell me I don't eat vegetables. That's fine. I've eaten dinners of all just roasted vegetables from a cast iron.
That is a vegan meal, sir.
Exactly. So you're knocking me. But I will say, if I'm out west, I'm going to try some of that tri-tip that was talking about. That's happening, Chris. I don't care. I'm going to try some of that tri-tip. It's curious. I've never heard of this before.
Yeah,
it's interesting, how to listen to her journey about when she said, thought she was going to be playing in New York City, and then she lands in Buffalo.
Right. Yeah,
a far cry from New York City, not only just distance-wise, but just lifestyle, everything. It is not the same.
I thought I was going to be playing in Charlotte, but then when I pulled up to Archdale, North Carolina, I was really shocked. And shout outs to Archdale. It's not a bad place, but it's not Charlotte though.
Yeah, you think North Carolina, I'm going to go to the beach. Welcome to Weddington.
Yeah.
It's definitely different for sure. But big shout out to Lynn Williams over there. The Courage. One thing I will say about the Courage and the team is, and this is actually, I think, kind of woven into the sports culture here in the state of North Carolina. The professional teams, especially the ones of, I don't want to say of like lesser leagues, but outside of the non-mainstream sports like football, NBA, those kinds of things, minor league baseball, the Courage in the NWSL, even the Carolina Hurricanes in this area are woven into the fabric of the community. Like a big team like the New York Yankees or the Dallas Cowboys, they're just they're international brands. Like people are going to be fans of them no matter what. But these other teams, they're part of the community. And I think that's what actually makes them so much more special, is because people in the community love and respect them, not only for being good teams, but just the fact that the teams themselves make themselves part of the community, if that makes sense.
And if you want to talk about success, I mean, shoot, our NBA team, the Charlotte Hornets and the Carolina Panthers, they haven't won championships. The Courage, they've won championships.
Yeah.
The Carolina Hurricanes, they have a Stanley Cup championship. A lot of people consider the Durham Bulls the other Major League Baseball team. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
they win championships in Durham.
And so it's one of those things where, yeah, you're right, because those teams, and then if we go down to the college ranks, as far as Duke and North Carolina in basketball, they win championships. So I mean, there's a lot to love about those sports. I don't want to call them lesser leagues like you're saying, but like a step under the NFL and NBA. And they're doing very well here in the state of North Carolina. So it's very good to have Lynn Williams there. I was happy to take my daughter to a Courage game, and then I also was able to take her to a USA baseball game. So before the Olympics, she can say that she's seen Olympic teams. She's seen a bronze medalist, 2 bronze medalists, her and Sam Ewis. And then the U.S. men's baseball team, they were silver medalists. And so it's cool to have all of that here, and that USA baseball gets ready for here. And then that some of the best women Olympians in soccer get ready here in North Carolina. They play here. So it's amazing to say that.
Yeah, I just love the fact that these teams are so welcoming, to allow fans. The players themselves are very welcoming to fans as well. It's just wrapping up in downtown Raleigh. The Courage and NCFC had this pop up, little soccer pitch out there right on City Plaza in downtown Raleigh. And when they had the opening day there are players from both teams, the NCFC and the Courage were there, meeting people, talking to people, coaching people, and they were just like any other average person that you would see walking down the street. Except they just happen to be high-level athletes. I saw Lynn Williams. I saw Jessica McDonald there as well. And it's just like, oh, you're just like, everybody else, but you have, you've got a World Cup championship to your name. You know, you're about to be in the Olympics, but that's the part of the community that they really tie into.
Which, you know, close to City Plaza, right there is a place called Element Gastropub, which I need to take you to. It is
I've heard of this.
It's a vegan restaurant.
The aforementioned special person who made the brownies mentioned that restaurant. And
Double date?
Hey, I'm just saying, let's do it.
We can do it. I mean, it's really good, and maybe you could try some vegan queso and not like do this to it.
Real queso. Get out of here, man. Get out of here.
I don't know.
Shout out to Lynn Williams once again.
The sign is real simple, B. It says wrap it up.
Wrap it up, B. It's done. Thank you guys for listening to the Culture State Podcast. I'm Chris Lee.
I'm Dennis Cox. 5
stars only. We appreciate y'all.
The Culture State Podcast, part of the Capital Broadcasting Podcast Network, with new shows coming out every Wednesday. Download and subscribe from wherever you get your podcasts, including the WRAL Sports Fan app.